Welcome back to Running Shoes Guru. My name's Brandon and today I'm reviewing the Hoka Bondi X. First came the Carbon X, then came the Rocket X, and now we have the Bondi X. It's the third and the newest Hoka series to feature a carbon fiber plate. The Bondi X is a super premium max cushioned carbon plated trainer, and it's the first of its kind for Hoka. The Bondi X is a spin-off of the Bondi series, which is now on its 7th iteration. And when I tested the Bondi 7 last year, I was really disappointed with how firm it felt. It didn't feel like a max cushion trainer, and I even preferred the Hoka Clifton because it felt plusher than the Bondi 7. The Bondi X weighs 0.5 ounces or 14 grams more than the regular Bondi 7, and it also has a thinner midsole, 33.5 millimeters in the heel and 28 millimeters in the forefoot. The Bondi X also costs a whopping $50 more than the regular Bondi 7. The first time I put it on and walked around in it, I was relieved that there was no poking arch sensation like in the Bondi 7, and it felt a lot more comfortable than the Bondi 7. My first run was a 7-kilometer easy run, and it took some time to break in the Bondi X. The first couple of kilometers felt really awkward and blocky, but by the end of the run, the midsole had softened up and the forefoot had gained a little bit more flexibility. I was pleasantly surprised with how much softer and more comfortable the ride of the Bondi X was than the Bondi 7. And I was also surprised with how stable it felt for a shoe with such a tall midsole. Hoka claims that this is the softest midsole foam they've ever used. And the Bondi X definitely feels like the plushest and the most cushioned shoe in the Hoka range. It's now on par with the Glycerin, the Triumph and other max cushioned trainers. And I actually found it too soft for any pace faster than 5 minutes per kilometer, because it felt like I was fighting with the soft cushioning. When picking up the pace, I felt like my feet were sinking down into the soft foam too much. I like the Bondi X most on easy or recovery runs for short or middle distances. Its thick, well-cushioned midsole provides plenty of protection from the ground, but it feels far too bulky for faster-paced efforts or long runs because of how big its midsole is. The plate in the midsole makes the shoe flex up in the forefoot, and the forefoot is a little bit less flexible than the Carbon X2 and the Rocket X because of how thick the Bondi X's midsole is. So the ride of the Bondi X feels more rigid and less natural. The stiff carbon fiber plate provides a powerful toe off because of how rigid it is. There's less rubber on the outsole of the Bondi X than the regular Bondi 7, and this saves some weight. However, there's a lot more rubber on the Bondi X compared to the Carbon X2, which doesn't have any rubber on its outsole at all. So the Bondi X is a lot more durable than the Carbon X2. The high wear areas on the rear foot and the forefoot are covered with rubber, and there's exposed midsole foam on the midfoot. There are also slits cut into the midsole to display the carbon fiber plate, and these slits tend to pick up seeds and small stones during runs. After 80 kilometers, I found outsole durability to be average and about at the same level as the Clifton 8. I noticed the most wear on the outer lateral heel lip where the rubber meets the midsole foam. The upper of the Bondi X is mesh with 3D hot melt yarns, and it reminds me a bit of the Rincon 1's upper, but more flexible and softer. The Bondi X has a racing inspired asymmetrical tongue, and it's gusseted, but I found it to be too short and it slides downwards during runs. The other thing that I didn't like is that the orange Hoka logo on the tongue bleeds onto the white laces and turns them orange. The heel tab and the collar are padded, but the padding isn't as dense as the Bondi 7's padding, which is memory foam. Heel lockdown for me was excellent, although I did have to use a runner's knot. The fit of the Bondi X is true to size, and it has a spacious midfoot and toe box, which is really uncharacteristic for Hokas. The Bondi X is an unlikely combination of components, with its giant oversized matte cushioned midsole and its stiff carbon plate. In my opinion, the Bondi X is a much better shoe than the Bondi 7. It's softer, more comfortable, wider, and it feels more versatile. It's also lighter and a lot more fun to run in because it doesn't have that signature Hoka bucket seat that pokes into your arch. If money wasn't an issue, I'd pick the Bondi X over the Bondi 7 any day of the week. But at $200, it's way too expensive for a recovery or easy day shoe. The Bondi X is a fun shoe, but it doesn't make it into my rotation. On easy days, I want to run slowly, so I don't need a carbon plate. For tempo or steady runs, there are much better options than the Bondi X, which are lighter and more propulsive. The Bondi X is, however, a uniquely plush luxury cruiser with a lively toe-off that will appeal to certain runners. If you're a runner who wants a carbon-plated shoe which is stable, highly cushioned and suitable for slow-paced running, then the Bondi X is the shoe for you. Let us know what you think of this new category of running shoes down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the review, and please remember to like the video and subscribe to Running Shoes Guru.